On this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast, instead of teleporting to Waffle House, the drunk angel teleported to Pirate Pete's.
And so did the creepy satanic nudist. Let's do this.
Welcome to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. I'm Diana.
I'm Liz.
And we're going to talk about season 13, episode 1, Lost and Found.
Yeah, there's nothing really catchy to say about Lost and Found.
No,
except those are places that exist that sometimes you find cool stuff in.
Correct.
Yeah. Do enjoy a Lost and Found.
A good Lost and Found is sometimes has some treasures.
It does. At least you count on a pair of sunglasses.
Fair. And an umbrella. Always.
Yeah, fair. What have you been up to?
Oh, goodness. We had a garage sale. It's been a minute. So we had a garage sale, which was fine. Oh, we did something soccer adjacent. We went and watched a live podcast for Men in Blazers, which is a very popular Premier League soccer podcast because Dave is very excited because his team, Arsenal, won the Champions League. And I am not going to pretend to talk about soccer much more because that's about the extent of my knowledge base. But he's very happy, and all Arsenal fans, go Gunners. That's what I'll say for cheers to whoever likes that shit. And then what else have I been up to? I went and saw a couple bands. I know it's totally shocking, but I went and saw Taylor Honeycutt, who's one of my favorites. She calls herself the Queen of Alabama. It's very Southern rock and very fun. My little plug for her. And then it's really about it. Like just did some like lunches and stuff.
No, lunches.
Oh, we watched a movie that I really enjoyed. At home. It's streaming on Amazon, I think, but it's Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die.
Okay.
It's pretty dark, but it's very funny and high action also. Really enjoyed it, except just don't think too hard about the dark element of it. But it was a very enjoyable film.
Cool. I'll have to check that one out.
Yeah. It's a good name too.
Yeah, it is a good name.
How about you?
Well, the boys wrapped, so that was, there are lots of, so fun talking about, it's not spoiling. I think they have promised, I guess this goes into what's happening with our boys, that the questions that were left open about Soldier Boy and Jensen Ackles' character will be answered in Vought Rising. So, and they, it was a good, I was satisfied with the ending, I think. I didn't, it wasn't, it ended in a way that was, it wasn't as contentious as the end of Supernatural. I'll say that much. Oh, okay. So it was kind of storylines wrapped in the way that were satisfying to me. I mean, obviously a lot of people died because it's the boys, and it was very violent. And it was
even
really
I know
gross.
that.
Yeah. So beyond that, I have been working on trying to, I guess, self-publish things, which is a interesting world to go down. I kind of made a deadline for myself that if I hadn't found a publisher by June, that I would just go into this and figure out how to do it on my own. And what I found is that you make a lot of typos as you are writing things, and when you send things off for proofs, you get back and then you get it back and then realize all the fucking typos that you missed. It's like, how? I went through this 4 times. How are there still more typos? How are there things in this grammar that I want to change? And then you have to be like, yes, I reject this proof and I want to. So, but hopefully theoretically, season 1 of the book is available in some places. So I think you just have to go. It should be available on Amazon probably by the time this drops. If not the week after. I'll probably say by next week's episode, at least volume 1 should be ready for Kindle, and the EPUB is out there. I'm just not sure how to get it into. I have to figure things out. It's out there and it should be available to buy. I just don't know where you can buy it from unless I send you a direct link to buy it. But you know what I mean. But it should be available. We'll be posting. So it should be available for the digital version should be available in a week. And then you should be able to order the print version in a week or two once I approve things. And so that'll be the first season, and then I'm pretty much ready to go on. Well, the other seasons will be coming out pretty quickly following that, so we'll have a whole bunch of volumes of lore and more to go through and read as a compliment to this podcast.
Yeah, that's exciting.
It is.
Especially for folks you know the series, you know the stories, and to have like a reference and something to follow along on the lore. That's super, super exciting. And just self publishing, I'm super proud of you.
Thank you. And it's, and I will say, I'm like, this is all under attorney-client privilege, I'm sure. But I am trying to make sure that I'm not violating the rights of the people who own the property IP of
Right.
Supernatural.
Yeah.
And be like, well, because I'm not talking about the show, but the word supernatural, it's kind of hard to describe the book without using those words.
That is hard.
So I just have like a disclaimer phrase put in there that I saw in someone else's supernatural book, and we'll just see if Warner Brothers. I'm pretty sure Warner Brothers owns it. Whoever owns them comes after me, but we'll find out. Yeah.
Sometimes you
So
just get more press than anyways.
there you go. We stir up a little controversy. But yeah, my plan is, so some of them, obviously you'll be able to buy them in the digital world, and we'll be hopefully doing some tables at cons coming up in the future. So you can get your hands on some of them that way, and we can meet some people. And yeah, at least at the Austin con for sure, if not other ones. But now that they finally moved that to November, and it's not going to be so sweaty. So that leads us into any news about the boys, which is really no. Everything on Jared just seems to be follow-ups to his appearance on the boys, and everything on Jensen seems to be about Vought Rising
And him and his beard.
His beard, and also what his character did on Tracker, because apparently his character did some stuff on Tracker and has left the show, but I don't think he's left the show. But I think it's like in a fight with Justin. What's his name?
Yeah, that guy. Other hot guy with good jawline.
The other good looking guy that, yeah. One of those shows I just try and get my mom to watch. I'm like, Mom, you just like looking at boys. Like, here, just watch this show. So, all right, well, let's talk about Lost and Found and start off season 13. So this was our first episode of the season. It aired October 12th, 2017. And this was directed by Phil. I refuse to try and say your last name anymore. And last season, he did the closer of All on the Watchtower, and then he also did Lotus and The Memory Remains. And this was written by Andrew Dabb, who also wrote All on the Watchtower, and so he wrote other things last season as well. So our road so far, I mean, has, I'm going to steal your music thing on what's playing on our road so far. But that's Metallica's Nothing Else Matters is playing during the beginning of it, which I'm like, that seems expensive. But so that's playing at the beginning of the recap. And during a recap, we're reminded about Cass and the baby and the family, lots of crying, British Men of Letters, the cult, Jody shooting Dr. Hess, the British Men of Letters blowing up, the cult again, a dead Eileen, a Wolfie Claire, the yellow glowing riff, Apocalypse Land, Kelly's busted vagina, Cass getting stabbed, Lucifer and Mary falling into Apocalypse Land, giant celestial man baby, and a dead Cass.
Yes. Yeah.
And then we go to now.
And we pick up exactly where we left off, where Sam is slowly approaching Jack in the corner of his nursery. And Jack just says, Father. And we still see Dean standing over Castiel's body outside. So Sam's like, no, I'm not your father. And you must be Jack. And Dean comes in and just comes in guns blazing. Dean walks in and starts shooting. Like, what the fuck, Dean?
What is wrong with you?
So maybe you shouldn't be. Maybe you need to take some time from work right this moment.
Maybe you shouldn't have firearms at this moment. So what happens is then like the sonic boom comes out of Jack's mouth, and the boys are flung against the wall because you rushed into the room and shot at them.
Yeah, and then all the windows blow out of the house with this sonic boom, and we get a flashback now. So we think, to where Mary is intervening with Lucifer when she came out, and she's like putting on her brass knuckles and she's going to fucking go at him. And as she walks towards Lucifer, instead of punching the shit out of him like she did in the last episode of the season, she catches on fire and then floats up. And then we see her on the ceiling on fire. And then Dean wakes up.
Because there's a bad Dean dream.
Yeah. I was like, oh gosh. So Sam and Dean wake up on the floor of the nursery. And then Dean's like, oh shit, that was Lucifer's son, huh? And so they go outside. I will comment that none of the windows were broken when they went outside, and that was weird. And I wonder what that means. Or if it was just a continuity error. But that's my comment. And Dean is asking Sam if Jack can teleport and if he has wings.
And my question is, do you know what teleporting is, Dean? Because if you have wings, you're not teleporting. So then I figured we should answer what is teleporting. So this is lore. And we're going to talk about teleporting and teleportation. So our main source for this is a Mental Floss article by Eden Gordon called Teleportation is Possible, just not in the way you might think. Other sources will be in the show notes. So what is teleporting? This is something that actually came up in the news recently when FEMA official Greg Phillips claimed he had teleported twice, once ending up in a Waffle House. I will pause for you to make the required "I got drunk and teleported to a Waffle House once too" joke. But Phillips is arguing that someone used the word teleport and they used it wrong. On True Social, he said the more accurate biblical terms are translated or transported, not new ideas for people of faith. And he's not wrong. Teleporting and transporting is part of biblical text as well as Jewish and Islamic texts. It also appears in ancient Indian texts as something that is accomplished after a great deal of spiritual study. So it's a concept that's been around for a very long time. But interestingly enough, if you go into the dictionaries, so Merriam-Webster defines it as the act or process of moving an object or person by psychokinesis, or in fiction, instantaneous travel between two locations without crossing the intervening space. And then Cambridge says is the act of traveling by an imaginary, very fast form of transportation that uses special technology or special mental powers, or of causing someone or something to travel this way. So both dictionaries refuse to call teleportation real. I think that's really interesting that both of them are like, it's fiction, it's not real. But if you add the word quantum, then it becomes a different story, because quantum teleportation, according to scientists, is actually happening. It's very expensive and tiny, but it's happening. So, okay, to do this, we do need some more definitions. So if you didn't know, quantum just means the smallest indivisible unit of any physical property. So when you say quantum teleportation, it's about transferring the quantum state of a particle, like the state of a particle. So that's like its spin or its polarization, to another location. And this relies on what's called quantum entanglement. And that's the concept that the quantum state of each particle in a group cannot be described independently of the state of the others. So even when separated by a long distance, like billions of light years, one particle has information about the other, because you can't describe it without talking about the other one. Albert Einstein termed this spooky action at a distance. This connection then functions as a cosmic bridge, which enables a transfer of a physical state from one entangled particle to another. So I feel old saying this, but the first successful teleportation occurred almost 20 years ago, and that was in 1997. And I feel really old saying that was 20 years ago. So in Innsbruck, Austria, physicists teleported photons. Then in 2002, scientists in Australia teleported the quantum state of a laser beam. They got shown up in 2006. It just feels very competitive to me. I may have watched too much like Big Bang Theory, but I just feel like scientists are competing with each other. So in 2006, Danish scientists delivered information inside a laser beam to a group of atoms over a foot away using quantum teleportation. China said, "Hold my beer." And in 2012, they teleported a particle over 60 feet away. Then in 2017, went all out and transported information across hundreds of miles between a satellite in space and an Earth. By 2020, scientists discovered that you can transport electrons. And in 2024, a quantum state of light was teleported through a fiber optic cable inside internet traffic. And lastly, in 2025, researchers use semiconductor nanocrystals, better known as quantum dots, to develop remote light sources that enabled information transmission between protons. Okay. So little tiny things have happened. Like we have transported, things have been teleported. Right. And this all sounds really great and sciencey, but what about teleporting my ass to a bar so I don't have to use an Uber? When is that going to happen?
Or just to a beach if I need a few hours to put myself in the sand. Like I'm not, I don't need to go for long.
Just a little bit,
I don't need
right?
a resort. Just send me to the beach for like a couple hours. I'll be good.
Well, and just to get the mail, right? Like the mail's pretty far. It'd be nice to just go kind of beam over there. Anyway, so according to the very scientific wikihow.com, this is how human teleportation would work if such technology existed today. Spoiler, it does not. Okay, first, the person would have to be dematerialized and broken down into all their individual atoms. Then those atoms and their entangled particles would be measured so that the information about the person would pass through the entangled particles at the starting point to the entangled particles at the destination. Does your brain hurt?
Didn't Willy Wonka do that?
Yeah, it's kind of like the Willy Wonka idea. So the particles at the destination would be changed to recreate the human being, essentially creating a new person. And at present, there is no way to break down a human being into their individual atoms without like blowing them up into a billion pieces. But there's also no way to recreate a human out of those atoms if you could do it in the first place. But then it also raises the question, is that the same person? Like it's just a clone, right? Even if it's an atom by atom clone, it's not the same person, even with the same thoughts and feelings, right? Like, cause it's a recreation as a clone. Yeah. So that deep thought aside, as teleportation advances, we will probably see a quantum internet that allows for instantaneous encrypted messages over any distance. And I feel like that's going to be the next like really big use for this because it's something that everybody needs. This is a way you could really actually know if something was encrypted.
That's true.
Yep.
That's exciting.
But the power to do that is really immense and impractical. So it's not going to happen for a very long time. But you know how science goes. Sometimes we move whatever Moore's law, blah, blah. So it can happen sooner than we think. But I still feel like I'm not going to be beamed up anywhere in my lifetime, unfortunately. Damn it. Damn you scientists focusing on
maybe
all the
at least they
things.
can beam your mail to you instead.
Maybe they can beam my mail. Yeah, my mail getting beamed to me seems, and securely and encrypted, right? Yeah. And if they can like beam the junk mail directly into the fucking trash so I didn't have to deal with it anymore, and all the credit card things into a shredder.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Okay, so those just be dematerialized. Okay, that's what I want. I want to be able to take all the credit card applications that you get sent and just dematerialize them.
Yeah.
You know how to shred them. All right. So that's teleportation.
Well, we're not beaming to a Waffle House anytime soon.
We are not beaming to a Waffle House, and Jack is not waffled house. Jack has made that into a verb. He is not beamed himself anywhere else. He is very much walking
naked through the woods.
Yeah, down the side of the road, and his feet aren't. Those have got to be some pretty tender feet. I mean, they haven't like they're newborn
not
feet.
Calloused. Yeah. And he sees a Pirate Pete's fish and chip stand. It is a little place on the lake.
It's like Long John Silver's, but a smaller version of it.
Yeah. And at the restaurant, we've got our teen employee and his coworker sitting there getting ready for the day to start serving breakfast. And one of them, who we later find out his name is Clark, he is changing every food item to have the word butt in it. Because that's what teenage boys do.
Yep, including a butt shake. Yep.
And
sometimes adult women, but includes a butt shake and a salty butt combo.
Because he can't get fired because their boss is banging his mom.
Hey, that's sort of good. So, and then they hear a voice on the intercom, and it's just someone going, "Father?"
And the speaker is a pirate statue, which is extra hilarious here. So, and they're like, "We're not open yet." And he just keeps saying, "Father?" And I'm wondering, is he talking to the pirate?
Perhaps he thinks the pirate can answer him. And they can see a naked dude on the camera, and everything is all very well placed. So just like the dick is always covered, like it's just very strategically done.
Yes. But they're going to call Clark's mom, who happens to be at the a sheriff.
Yeah. So. And she answers the phone in her sheriff gear and wants to know how naked is naked.
Yeah. So we cut from that to Sam and Dean driving a very dirty baby. She needs a fucking bath, man. Like, this sucks.
But she's very dirty, but it's a very scenic highway.
It is. And so Dean's like going down the list. We need holy oil. We got to be ready.
How is our stock of artisanal holy oil? We can't send Cass off to the Middle East to get us any more. Like, I hope we got some.
Got to be stocked. But he wants to hit this guy with everything they've got because he's going to recap what happened. Crowley's dead. Kelly's dead. Castiel, ... Mom's gone. And so now we've got this, the devil's kid hit puberty in 30 seconds and tried to kill us. And Sam's like, you tried to shoot him. Reminder. And Dean's like, we kill monsters. That's what we do.
Yeah, Sam's just really mad that Dean shot him without asking any questions.
Yes.
Or trusting Sam to have it under control. But Dean just wants to find and end Jack. He's just on a mission.
Because before he hurts anybody else. And Sam asks if Castiel is really dead. And Dean says, yes, he is.
You know he is. And Dean's just like in a mood. He's in a fucking mood. He is PMSing. And I mean, I know everyone just died. And so you can't be, but maybe, we should think about this and take some steps back because a bunch of people just died. And maybe we're in an emotional state. And I don't know.
You're allowed to have grief, but let's process.
You maybe you need to take some time there. But instead, we're going to go to Pirate Pete's where Jack is still at the drive-thru.
Naked.
Yep, and the sheriff comes up and she introduces herself and he just smiles at her and it's so creepy. So creepy.
Yes. Yeah. So we cut back to the lake house and we have angels investigating. And you never trust that shit because no. Fucking angels. And we see Castiel's body under the sheet and they're discussing like one of them, the woman's like, he deserved better.
Yeah, the woman, I just started calling her Angel Kristen Wiig.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the dude angel's like, he really didn't. And they're like, basically they say, we got to go find Jack.
Which was kind of funny. I did appreciate that. He didn't really deserve better.
Damn.
And so, yeah. And the other angel also doesn't care about Kelly. So Kelly's dead and they just don't care. And we're going to go back to the sheriff's where they have given Jack some clothes.
Yeah. And he is trying to adjust to how clothes feel on him. And Earl, the other guy at the sheriff's department, says he's weird. And I like that the sheriff, Christine Barker is her name, but she said, there's no such thing as weird. Everyone's normal in their own way.
I beg to differ, Christine. There's some fucking weird ass people in this world. I'm one of them, but I'm just saying there's some weird ass people.
Correct. I just appreciated her optimism.
Yes. So optimistic. But the sheriff has given Jack some water and wants to know his name, but Jack is just really like, what's a water bottle?
Wants to know what a water bottle is, and all he knows is his first name. And so she's like, oh, what about your mother and father? And he's like, my mother, she's in heaven. And my father's supposed to be here, but he's not. I'm trying to find him. Huh. Well, no phone number, no address, no email. So she's like, what do you remember? He has a memory. And it is when the bad woman burned.
And that was Dagon. And the universe screamed.
Yikes.
Yeah. And she fingerprints him. And he does.
I think it's interesting that he called her the bad woman.
Yeah, instead of like he knew that he didn't fall for her stitch when he was inside. And so she fingerprints him and he does have fingerprints. So at least that is something.
Yeah. So he has a fingerprint and she is going to, and he licks the ink off his finger. And Clark, the son, has just decided that Jack is just high as fuck.
And he wants to know what drugs he's on so he can get some.
He is jealous. And Jack is like, what does high mean? It's very funny. But he does feel like suddenly he knows what he is. That's hungry.
Yep, so he knows what that feeling is. And we go back to Pirate Pete's where Baby pulls in and Dean is just still being a little bitch. And she's like, I don't think Zach is there, man. And I'm going to call Jody and I'm going to get her help at an APB for a creepy satanic nudist.
Yeah. Sam goes inside, and there is a woman who seems very drunk, and she reminded me of, oh my gosh, I just blanked on it from Clueless. Ah, not Brittany Murphy, no, the other one. Anyways, I'll think of her name in a minute, the actress. But this hungover chick, the drunk slash hungover chick, is demanding fries because everybody wants fries, but it's breakfast hour, so they only have hash browns, and hash browns are basically like fries. But she's
But
not
they're
buying
not.
it.
She's not buying it. And she also doesn't have her shoes on. They're over her shoulder. And I just want to
No,
point that out because she is tired of wearing heels.
we've
And
all been
so
there.
Sam comes in and he describes a naked man baby. And the kid is like, yeah, I saw him. And and the sheriff, we go to the sheriff, the phone rings, and Sam calls her pretending to be an FBI agent looking for Jack. And just as he's doing that, he notices the butt on the menu. And he's just like, okay, well, don't release this dude, but she's too busy being blown away by his fingerprints. So, like, he does have fingerprints, but they're just straight up and down.
They're the lines. That's crazy. So, anyways, she's like, yeah, I've got him here. I'm just not gonna release him till y'all get here, and we need to talk about this fake FBI agent. Yeah. So we've got back at the restaurant, Dean is walking out to the car, and now his hand is very bloody. So we all know that Dean had to go punch something a bunch.
Yeah, and
A bunch.
again, you know, you're going through some grief and you're processing stuff, which is the appropriate time to punch walls. But maybe you shouldn't be dealing with other
Other
things.
serious decisions.
Yep. And our drunk friend is there hanging out by Baby.
And it was, I do think she reminds me of Brittany Murphy, and that's why I was
Okay.
but anyways, so she's like, what happened to your hand? And Dean's going to the trunk to drink because he has liquor in his trunk, clearly. So we get a
Stared
trunk
for his
moment.
knuckles.
Yeah.
You know, it's medicinal.
Sure, that's what it is. So she launches into a story about punching walls when she had a college roommate named Becky who had an Elsa poster on her wall, and she and Dean is just very much not entertaining this conversation, but she is going on, and also she didn't just punch the poster; she also lit most of her things on
Yeah.
because
And
she was
a super bitch.
a super bitch. Yes.
And she would just do whatever she wants. She would take things and break things because the whole world is just Becky to her. And that's why she punched her poster and lit her stuff on fire.
Yeah. So Sam comes out and asks what happened to Dean's hand. She's like, he's sensitive about that. I just thought it was a really funny exchange. But either way, Sam knows where Jack is. So Sam and Dean are going to the sheriff's.
Yep. And he says that right in front of Drunk Girl. And
she stands there, and we get a cool shot of her standing in the parking lot looking kind of cool while they drive away.
yeah. And so she's at least wearing shoes now. And she also wrote bitch on the window of the Impala.
There you go. So we are at the sheriff's station, and lights are flickering because, of course, lights are going to flicker. It's supernatural. That's what they do. They have problems with lights. And so Christine, the sheriff, is looking for Clark and Jack, and she can't find them. Everything's flickering more. She's kind of freaking out, and then she finds them sitting on the floor of the break room eating candy out of the vending machine.
Yep. And there is a high pitched ringing that only Jack can hear. And the sheriff touches him on the shoulder, which is an oopsie, and he flings her into the vending machine. Yeah. And he starts walking down the hall, and his migraine is breaking all the lights. Dean comes in, and then Sam tases him.
Yeah. So we've got Christine wakes up from getting knocked on the floor, and she's got her pistol drawn, and she wants to know what's going on. So, not appreciating their story, she immediately cuffs both Sam and Dean. Sam goes in a holding cell with Jack, and Dean gets to get questioned. And he just goes straight into it, telling her what's what.
I guess he feels like a kinship to, like, this is like a Jody. And the sheriff has also dropped a whole bunch of weapons on the table before he goes into the we kill monsters speech.
Yeah. And she's like, what are you, like a superhero? And he's like, just a guy doing a job. And the kid, she figures out the kid is not human exactly, and asks what he is, and he's like, Jack is a Nephilim, half human, half angel. Oh, by the way, angels are real too.
And Jack has woken up.
With Sam, and he is upset that he got shot at, and because he was, but apparently he didn't mean to hurt anybody, he was just scared. And now he's also scared, and he gets scared, things happen and he can't stop them, and he's scared of the voices that are loud and angry in his head,
but he can't hear them right now. And Jack also is sorry and wants Sam to tell them that he's sorry. And then Sam's just like, dude, how can you speak English?
You're not even a day old. What? And he says, Mother taught me. Oh? And what about your powers? And he's like, I don't know. But it's like me, but not me, is what he says. It's weird. But Sam's like, well, before you were born, you opened a door to another world. Do you remember doing that? Can you do that again? And he's like, I have to find Father to protect me. That's all Jack's focused on, is finding Father to protect him. And Sam's like, your father is not going to protect you. That's not really it's not really what he does. And then Jack drops a bomb on us.
Is it a bomb? I don't know. He's not, he doesn't consider, he's not looking for Lucifer. He's looking for Castiel.
Mm-hmm. Castiel is Father. That's who'd keep him safe. And that's why he knew, and that because the world's not safe and the world's dangerous, he couldn't be born as a baby or a child. And he chose Castiel to be his father.
Yep. And so he had to grow up fast. He just wants to know where his father is. And Sam's like, well, he dead.
Yeah. Oof. And so we've got Clark is sneaking outside of the sheriff's office to smoke. Come on, kid. I know your mom's a sheriff, but like, damn.
Yeah, he's going out to smoke a joint outside the sheriff's office, which is pretty... Way to go, Clark. And then drunk Ho Angel shows up, and well, she's, now we know she's with the angels.
Yeah, she's an angel. She's not just a drunk chick that wanted fries really bad. She's our bitch angel is what I called her. There you go. And she asks if he's going to share, but we know this is bad news. So Dean goes in to talk to Sam. He's like, we're good to go. I gave her the talk. And they're like, and Sam's like, hey, FYI, Jack isn't evil. He's just a kid and we need him. And then we hear Clark yell for help.
Yeah. Dean, to this whole point though, like Dean wants to take Jack away and just kill him.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to discuss anything. Nope. He just wants to go off, you know. And so, but the Clark screaming for help makes them all go running out. And there is drunk Ho Angel, and she's got a blade against Clark's neck.
Mm-hmm. And our sheriff is pointing a gun, and Dean's like, that's not going to work here. You should probably stop. And our drunk bitch angel, whatever we want to call her, is like, look, I'll let Clark go if the sheriff shoots Dean. What is happening here? Anyways, and she's like, no, I know that you've been given the talk and that you think he saves the world, but really, he's Becky.
Gurr is so macho. And so he takes things and he breaks things and he pisses people off and he gets whatever you want no matter who it hurts. So you're a giant super bitch.
Mm-hmm. And Dean takes one to new
Becky needs to die. Yeah, so Sam calls for Dean as the angels break into the jail cell. And we find out that it's the angel radio that's been hurting Jack's head.
Yeah, which is crazy, which I kind of like suspected, but yeah.
Yes.
And so either way, so we've got two angels in the fucking cell in the holding area with Sam and Jack. And we've got angel bitch, whatever, bitch angel, whatever we're calling her, in with stabs Clark.
He just stabs him with an angel blade. What the hell? There was no reason to stab
for no reason.
No reason. And Kristen Wiig headsbutt Sam. Then the other angel is like kicking Sam in the ribs. And the sheriff is radioing for an ambulance. And Dean and the drunk hoe continue to fight. Then the sheriff at least figures out she's got a first aid kit.
Yes. And then Dean definitely, it's a pretty gnarly fight, but Dean does hit her in the face with a fire extinguisher. Ooh, and he gets a hold of the angel blade, which is good. Sam's gotten his ass kicked and his blood all over the floor, and the angels are about to take Jack away. But what has Sam done? He's done this trick before, I believe, where he made a sigil out of his own blood on the floor and poof, boop, boop
Yep.
stains
So
us up.
while he was getting his ass kicked, he was faking it, and so he could write a sigil in there. And Jack goes back to normal. Dean's got drunk hoe, and she said they want Lucifer to electric boogaloo because Bieber in there can do anything. So lots of fun little lines there.
He does have good lines.
But it's almost anything. Cassiel is all the way dead, and it's your fault.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then she headbutts Dean and goes to the cell. But Sam, we find out, yeah. So Sam is going to defend Jack. And so she pretends like, fine, I'll give in, blah. And then she fucking stabs Jack through the cell.
Yep. And Sam stabs her with the blade, which works on her, but it looks like Jack is fine. Oh, fuck, Jack is fine. What the fuck? Jack was just stabbed with an angel blade and he is fine. And so that's just happened.
Yeah.
And we go outside from there to the sheriff's office where Clark is getting wheeled away on a stretcher, and he and his mom go away in an ambulance while Jack is just sitting alone on a bench.
Yeah. And they discuss, Sam's like, hey, by the way, Dean, the kid's going to be all right. It's just angel radio sets his brain on fire. That's all. No big. And Dean's like, yeah, and he could also take an angel blade to the heart and not die. This is problematic. But they do agree to take Jack back to the bunker. Dean insists that nothing has changed. And this is so they can go back to the bunker and research how to fucking kill him.
Yep. But that way, the only people he can hurt are you and me.
Mm-hmm.
So we cut back to the lake house, and Dean opens trunk. Sam wants to know if he's sure, it's Cass. Maybe God can do something. And we cut to a flashback of Dean outside Pirates Pete's, where Dean was having a conversation with the ground, or, of course, praying to God / Chuck. And I might realize that I have a typo. It says chunk. And so he was praying to God Chunk. And so he wants Chuck to know that he needs his help. And this conversation has so many underlying themes of Dean's just fucking abandonment, of like not just God abandoning him, but all the times Dean Winchester has felt abandoned and alone by his mom right now, and Cass dying. And he's just
dad, everything, all of it.
And he's complaining that that God said the world would be fine because it had Sam and him in it, but it's not. And he wants God to bring back Cass and bring back Mom and even Crowley. And that's what we're owed, you son of a bitch. It's time to make things right. And then nothing happened.
So that's when he punches the employee's entrance only repeatedly.
He beats that pirate in the bathroom up and just shows it no mercy. And then he begs, and it's just nothing happens, no avail.
Mm-mm. So Dean says that God is not listening. Tells Sam God's not listening. He doesn't give a damn. And yeah, so we see that inside the lake house, Jack does approach Kelly's body and touches
in the corpse
her
birth bed. Yeah, he tickles her feet while she's in there. I'm like, why are you holding your weird fucking kid? But he's just like, oh yeah, this is the vagina that I was magically birthed out of. That's pretty amazing. And downstairs, Dean goes to Cass and he takes the sheet off his face for a moment. Then he takes down the curtains and starts tying him up.
Yeah, that's weird. That's one way to prepare him for the hunter's burial, I guess. I don't know.
Then outside they're burning.
Those are polyester.
Oh, it's gonna smell even worse. I just can smell what there's the dust coming out of it too. So outside they're burning corpses. Stop burning corpses. And Sam just wants to know if Jack wants to say anything.
Yeah. And Jack's like, what would you say? And Sam's like, well, thanking them, and they hope they're somewhere better, and you say goodbye. And Dean just says goodbye.
Yep. And Dean dumps gasoline on apparently everyone's corpses. Dean is also including Mary on his death list because he's sure Lucifer killed her. Yep. And he lights them all on fire, and it's gross, and they watch them burn.
And then what do we get?
We get back to Apocalypse Land because Mary's not dead. She's running.
Yes. And Lucifer catches her and she's like, yeah, I know you're going to kill me. Fine. And he's like, maybe not. Maybe I need you.
Oh, so now we know that those both of them are alive, and that's still happening.
Yes. Bum, bum,
And that's how we end. All right. So before we go into our final thoughts on this first episode of season 13, I assume we have some people in our cast to talk about.
We do. So first, of course, we're going to kick off with Jack, played by Alexander Calvert. He's been in episodes of Human Target, Bates Motel, a bunch of episodes of Arrow, and of course, he appears in The Winchesters once. He was Grom in Lost Boys: The Tribe. He's Jesse in Flicka Country Pride, and Rufus in Gen V as a reoccurring character. Then our Sheriff Christine Barker was played by Andrea Menard. She's done a lot of Canadian TV, so candidly stuff I've not heard of. But she was Edna in Sullivan's Crossing as a regular character, Debbie in Blackstone as a reoccurring character, and Tara in a show called Rabbit Fall as well, regularly. And then it's Miriam is our bitch angel. She's played by Carlina Britch.
Nice.
Anyways, she's been a dancer on Lip Sync Battle over 37 times.
That's fucking amazing.
I know. I thought that was fun. She's also been in episodes of X-Files, Charmed, iZombie, Tracker, and Criminal Minds. So she's a dancer too. Then Conrad is our dude angel. That's Ish Morris. He's been in episodes of Nikita, Suits, Handmaid's Tale, Arrow, iZombie, Batwoman, Good Witch, and Star Trek Strange New Worlds. He was Alex in Saw 3D and a Sentry in the 2014 RoboCop. He's a thug in the Christmas Chronicles. It's like a fun one. And then Henry in the Cabinet of Curiosities, the Guillermo del Toro series. Clark was played by Rob Racco. He's Ricky in 100 Lies, it's a movie, and then Joaquin in Riverdale was a regular character. Yep. Lily, that's your Kristen Wiig angel. Oh. That was played by Erica Walter. She's been in episodes of Arrow and Tracker. And then our co-worker at the fish shop was played by Brett Kelly. Yes, he's been in episodes of Dead Like Me, and he was a reoccurring character named Cecil in Family Law. But you might recognize him as Thurman in Bad Santa and Bad Santa 2. The kid.
If you're Diana.
Yeah. Bad Santa is a well-known movie. There we go.
We're not going to go to diatribe about Bad Santa, but okay.
Terrible. But anyway, so yeah, that's our cast.
Very cool. All right, so this is how we open season 13.
Woo! Well, I mean, we left off with a whole lot of
carnage,
death, and questions, right? I mean,
yeah.
So do we have a lot of answers? Kind of, but not. But we have a path to answers, right? I guess. I don't know.
Sort of. There's a whole bunch of dead people. Yes. And we've got Dean's I think the main thing about this is Dean's attitude, which is, yeah. I mean, not like Dean Winchester is all known for having the greatest attitude, but it's times 11. It's not as bad as him waking up a demon, but he's waking up with a stick up his ass. That's for Big sure.
And he's not in a good place.
He's not in a good place. And and necessarily team Jack, but I am team let's not shoot something in the face before we figure out what the fuck is going on. Maybe we just wait. How do you know that he's bad? I don't think something is just not born evil, right? It's just, no matter if his father is Lucifer, his other half, he's half human. What I think that is at least enough for a reasonable doubt to question things, right? Before you just make it a final assumption.
Well, and then you trusted and loved Castiel so much. Did you distrust his judgment that much? And do you distrust Sam's judgment that much? And that's I think that's almost the more offensive part to me. And instead of following your own moral compass and deciding, and y'all thought it was so terrible when they were just out killing Nephilim without thinking about it. And now this is just okay. Hold on. hold on. Don't be what you said you did. Don't be what you said you were against.
Yeah, it's
And you're like,
hypocritical.
yeah, and you're doing the shoot first, ask questions later bit, and that's just never been y'all. That's never. You have strayed away from
We've
that.
had this argument many times on the show.
Many times.
Many times you're like, yeah, we hunt monsters, but we also know hunting
There's
monsters isn't black and white. And I'm pretty sure that was said in like the next to last episode of last season by Sam.
That was like the whole thing about the fucking British Men of Letters.
Pretty
that
sure.
Was the whole
pretty
thing.
sure we just had that whole conversation again. So what you doing, Dean? What you doing?
He's just being mad, and that's just not a good way to operate life.
He's taking out his shit on Jack.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I don't think is fair to Jack off. I mean, at all. I don't know. I was trying to figure out how to make that Jack off joke work, but I didn't quite make it. It was almost there. We'll have plenty of opportunities for jack off jokes as we go through this season. Yeah. So, what do you think? You got to meet giant celestial man baby.
Yeah. Super weird, super fascinating character idea. That's what I got.
It's interesting.
I think it's way. How would they have done a baby? That would have been so fucking weird to have like 2 men and a baby run. Like what is?
I told you we could have been 2 men and a baby. That could have been a whole thing, and they chose not to do that. They chose to go this route, but also it's the Sam asking, "How do you speak English?"
Yeah.
There's a lot of, he's still a day old baby, right? So there's a lot of things there's like, how do you know? Like, I don't know, some things make sense and some things don't. But, I guess Mahid also could have learned a lot while he was in the womb. Because he seems to have learned a lot while he was there.
Yeah.
I don't know, at least like he's learned what pants are now.
He doesn't know what pants are. That's good. And shoes, probably, because as you said, his feet were probably very tender walking through the woods.
Right. It had to hurt walking down the street.
Right? Oh, that sounds terrible. Terrible.
Yeah.
I don't like to walk on the asphalt driveway. Are you kidding me? Like,
well, so at least he was walking in the soft leaves and not on the asphalt.
That's true.
But still, his feet had to hurt. Yeah. Didn't we start last season with Sam's feet? No, we're just like, is Tarantino directing this shit? We already had like Jack tickling her feet in this episode. We had just a lot of foot fetishes this episode.
No, not to yuck someone else's yum, but not my.
I'm not going to yuck your yum. I mean, if you want to pay money to look at my feet, that's fine. But I mean, I'm just saying.
I don't want to look at I don't want to look at people's feet. That's the thing.
But they would say there was just a lot of feet.
It was a foot heavy episode.
Foot heavy episode. All right. On that note, cheers, jerk.
Cheers, bitch.